Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of the My Team Career Mode on the Andrew Plays channel. We're back with United Racing. As you can see, we've advanced a little bit further than I normally do. We're already in the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. This is the R&D that we've got coming in soon. So we've got a minor part on the powertrain chassis and the aerodynamics. We did have one of those fail. It was the chassis weight reduction. Failed for this weekend, unfortunately. Weekend forecast, we're expecting rain at the end of qualifying, but the race is going to be dry. And of course we're on to our second engine due to there's some high wear on some of these parts. We might swap them out for the qualifying and the race because Canada is one of my favourite tracks, so I feel quietly confident of getting some sort of result here, even if it's just, you know, finishing above like Haas and maybe challenging Alfa Romeo. But even that might not put us in points contention. If we had the 14th finish in Azerbaijan, we've had a bit of a mixed season so far. We finished last when we DNF'd in Bahrain, but then a decent finish in Spain, disappointing result in Monaco, decent finish in Azerbaijan. Hopefully we can break the trend and we'll get a decent result here in Canada. Let's head into practice one. And here we are, doing a little bit of the race strategy, practicing on the mediums here. I think this was the first practice program I did. It's more of just showing you how we deal with Canada here than anything. You can see we're quite level on the delta time, clearly down on Pierre Gasly unfortunately, but at the same time to be expected while we're still really in a battle at the back of the grid. But as I mentioned, Canada is one of my favourite tracks. I love the chicanes that we have, and then this run out of the hairpin. On this occasion I actually went really wide on turn 10 there, but normally I do get that turn right. And we come down towards the final chicane next to the Wall of Champions, and we take that very nicely. Sometimes I do struggle with that because I find it very easy to catch the back end, but that's just one of the runs in practice, and we'll cut to qualifying. So with qualifying, you can kind of see the risk of rain already appearing here as we put our helmet on ready, and it really could be a case of who can get their laps in before the rain. We go out basically straight away in Q1, almost in the hopes that some of the other guys aren't quite as ready and they mess up by missing out on the dry track. Is that a way for us to sneak into Q2? It wouldn't be the first time it's happened like that for me on an F1 game. As we come out of turn 6 and 7 and towards turn 8 and 9, very aggressive on that curb, probably on the verge of getting getting the lap invalidated, and then down into turn 10, much better exit than we got in in practice, I should say. And you can see Kimi Räikkönen setting fastest lap of the session. That won't last long. There goes Charles Leclerc, and into the final chicane we go. We just missed the Wall of Champions, and we stay on this right hand side to make sure we get the best time that we can, but it's not a great time. 5 tenths down. I actually made a decision to just go straight back out with a second run, which I knew was a risk with the weather, but I thought there was enough left in the tyres that we could do so. And you can see already we're 2.5 tenths up, so in theory, I've made a good decision, but on the flip side, there's still a lot of time to be made up here.
We don't think it's going to stay dry for much longer. The rain could come at any moment. Watch out.
And that line there from Jeff really concerned me. Because, yeah, we're halfway around the lap here. It's a lap where we're green. We could go for this. We could dive in and then come back out to rain. It really depends on the exit that we get here. And it wasn't the best of times at this stage. Only 1/10 up. But it's shooting up as we come down the straight. And if we can get this final chicane right, we can knock that up a bit further. We again stick to the right hand side of the track. About 2/10 up. Doesn't actually gain us any positions though. And then this is one lap later. We've gone and changed tyres, but you can see the rain is starting. And after just the first little section of 2 corners, I've lost so much time. I invalidated the lap and I just give up on the lap. It's not going to happen. I did take a little interest in Charles Leclerc there because he went out for a second run on the softs while it was raining, but you can see over a second down on his first time. So the track was done by then, which means we did go out in Q1.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Perez, Lando Norris and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sainz, Vettel and Pierre Gasly, Tsunoda, Stroll, Fernando Alonso and Ocon, Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi and Ace, Mazepin, Latifi, Tigtum and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So having a little look at the race strategy here, and I was playing around with what I wanted to do fuel load wise. I decided not to risk going with the low fuel because I think it cost us time previously. We're going to go with the mediums then. So medium, soft strategy. Opposite to most of the grid. We get a very good start and we are going to fly straight up the side of Schumacher. We do connect with the back of Raikkonen, but we don't seem to have picked up any damage. And we guide ourselves around turn 2. And we seem to have got away. Schumacher's coming up out of the left-hand side, but we outbrake him as we go through turn 4. And now into turn 6. We get for a massive dive bomb on Giovinazzi and Raikkonen. Can we make it stick against Raikkonen? We can just about, but he is going to be coming back at us down the straight. The Alfa Romeo good in a straight line, but going into turn 8 and 9. We outbrake him, squeeze him out, and we've managed to climb up to 15th straight away. We go for a massive dive bomb on Alonso. There is contact wheel to wheel. It wasn't very clean, but we go through, and we just move on as we head down towards turn 13 and
We're
14.
in P14. Ocon is ahead of you. Alonso behind. Pit window opens in 12 laps time. 12 laps. There are 35 laps left in the race.
So just an early update for you there. We're going to be pitting on lap 13. You can see Alonso all over the back of us, but can't quite find a way past us into turn 1 and 2. And we accelerate out of that. And then this is 1 lap later. We break into turn 8 and 9. We do get a little close to the track limits there. DRS is online now. And I'm kind of aware we're going to struggle to hold Alonso off for long when he's got DRS. We're outside of DRS on Ocon as well. Can we hold him off down the 2 consecutive DRS straights? This is the one for overtaking more than the main straight. And then through the turn 13 and 14. And Alonso a little bit too far back to really have a go at us. And we manage to hold on as we start lap 4. And then you can see here later in the lap, Alonso is all over the back of us coming up towards turn 8. We brake late, but we can't do anything about it. And at this point I almost just decided, well, let's let him go, because we've got Raikkonen and Giovinazzi. I then think about going for a dive bomb, and in the end actually make it stick. That was not really part of my plan, but I was going to go into the back of Alonso. 1 lap later on, again similar position. This time he's not quite close enough to attack us into turn 8. But then we know we've got a long defence coming up after this hairpin. We need an amazing exit to not have Alonso all over the back of us. 5 tenths away as we come out of the corner. And you can see him gaining on us massively there. And he backs out of it going into turn 13 and 14. But is it just so that he can get a better run into turn 1 and 2? He's going up the inside, and that's exactly what he's done. He's timed his overtake. But what we're going to do now,
Okay, focus. We need to stay on form.
we're not going to challenge Alonso for this position now. We're just going to sit in his slipstream, in his DRS, and have him pull us away from Raikkonen and Giovinazzi. You can see that's working, because we're now 3.5 seconds away from Giovinazzi. From Raikkonen, I should say. But we're still just sitting in the DRS of Alonso. We're not going to be able to challenge him, realistically, but the fact that we can just have him pull us away from Raikkonen, I think we could probably outpace Raikkonen at this stage anyway. And then you can see here as we enter lap 9, some of the big boys have started to pit, but in a way that allows us to stay behind Alonso. As we enter lap 10, the rest of the front 10 have pitted, and Perez is going to get in between us and Alonso, and that's problematic for us. As we go into turn 3 and 4, we've got Lando Norris all over the back of us. We actually get contact with the back of Alonso there as well, as Perez glided past him. But the problem we've got the pace to keep up with Alonso while he's in open air. Have we got the pace while he's got DRS? Norris goes past us, and we've got Bottas all over us as well. And we're not going to try and defend against Bottas. We're going to let him go. And we just slot in here between Bottas, Ricciardo and Leclerc, which again not going to last long. It's because, you know, we need to put ourselves somewhere. There's yellow flags, and right, Ricardo's coming right up behind us. Ricardo's going to go past. No, he's not going to go past. We managed to actually... He backs out of it. But we stick to the racing line. We catch the grass a little bit. But we let Ricardo through. Because there's no point in just challenging him.
Come on, you can win that place back.
We'll lose time to Schumacher if we do try and challenge him. So it was just never going to be it was never going to benefit us if we tried to hold him off.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Off we go up the straight, and then we shut the door a little bit too much. I'll be honest, I hadn't seen signs.
Green flag.
I sent him for a spin. I feel awful. But because he spun that badly, there's nothing I can do to just let him pass. So I just have to kind of carry on with my race. I did feel bad for doing that, but there was no intention behind it. I just misjudged the corner, and it resulted in a spin for Sainz, unfortunately. And into the pit stop we go, and we need a good pit stop here to try and get us back alongside Alonso. It looks like he's going to be well away from us though, and you can already see him at the corner there. We've lost a lot of time on Alonso, but we do come out ahead of Giovinazzi. And now you can see here, lap 17, we're kind of just going around in a bit of open air for ourselves. We've slightly closed the gap on Alonso since the pit stop and pulled away from Giovinazzi and Russell a little bit further. But it's really going to come down to that series at the end when we swap onto the softs. If we can get a good pit stop and keep this gap here at 3.5 seconds to Alonso, we'll be in a great position as we enter that period on the soft tyres when most of the grid will be on the mediums. I don't think we'd have enough to nick a point, although, having said that, you've got this group, Alonso, Ocon, and I think it's Vettel that's just in front of them. So you have got the chance there. We might be able to nick something by virtue of that. However, a few laps later, they have pulled away from us a little bit now. It's a 5-second gap ahead of us. 5-second gap still behind us. Russell is dropping off Giovinazzi. But we're not under any pressure from behind us, but we're not really able to hold on to this group ahead of us, which is just down to not having the car to do so. I do feel like in this episode you've probably noticed a massive improvement on the use of the automatic gears. I've got a lot more comfortable with them. The manual gears, I've got a lot more comfortable with them and knowing how to use them since the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Also, very soon, we're going to have a co-op career mode video going out on Ashman's channel. I'll leave a link down below to his channel. Go and check out his My Team stuff, and most importantly, go and check out our co-op career mode that's going to be coming out.
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up.
We're very temporarily in the top 10 as some of the guys ahead of us pit, Sonoda and Stroll.
Daniel is in the pits. Daniel in the pits.
However, they do stay ahead of Giovinazzi.
Don't panic just yet, but we've seen a problem at our end. We're looking into it.
And that doesn't sound good. We've had engine problems already. I'm quickly flicking through to check my side, which seems to be okay at the moment. Surely we're not going to have heartbreak in my favourite Grand Prix of the season, and one where we're set for a very strong attack at the end of the Grand Prix on the softs.
Okay, looks like a mechanical failure. We're going to have to ask you to find a safe spot to retire. Sorry about that.
And it is heartbreak as the control electronics are gone. And also, safe place to pull over. Look how close Giovinazzi is to colliding with us there. That was apparently safe. But unfortunately, we are out of the Canadian Grand Prix due to a mechanical failure. It happened in Bahrain. It's happened again here in Canada.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Mercedes are on top form once
So we do
again
see
after an
Mercedes
excellent race weekend.
topping the
It's great to
podium
see them
with
up on that podium once again.
Red Bull either side of them. Becoming quite a familiar view, that is, the Mercedes and Red Bulls on the podium. But more often than not, I think it's been a double for Red Bull rather than for Mercedes. But I think it was a very much outside chance, but I think there was an outside chance of us getting our first points in this Grand Prix. It didn't come off, unfortunately.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the drivers'
Sainz never
championship.
really covered from that accidental spin from myself.
Lance Stroll
Dan
certainly put in an
finishing
impressive
17th,
performance
decent
today.
result
No
for
doubt
him.
his team and fans are extremely proud.
Finishing above
Let's
the
move on to the
two
constructors.
Williams and one of the
Mercedes
Haas's.
continue to
Hopefully he
extend
can
their lead.
improve in the coming
It's
weeks
been an
as the car
absolutely
improves.
wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Heartbreak for United Racing as we go out of the Grand Prix due to a mechanical problem for the second time of the season. If you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like down below. Comment how heartbreaking that was. And as I say, check out the series that's going to be coming out soon on the Ashman channel. He's in the middle of editing at the moment, so I don't think he's got a time frame as I'm saying this. But hopefully by the end of this week. And subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.